everyone, welcome back to more Flesh and Bad, and today we're going to be taking a look at Naib's Atlanta Zen list. So Naib is the player who won the Atlanta Battle Hardened, and this is probably the weirdest Zen list we've seen in a while. So that's why I'm calling this the Cook of the Century. This is a strange list. So let's get into it. First, we're starting off with Strides of Reprisal over Pouncing Paws. Historically, the reason we've chosen Pouncing Paws in the past has been for like getting the Tiger on. Like, if you just ignore the kind of battle worn portion of the card, which I think is better than Blade Rig generally. Uh, Generally, the reason we opt for Pouncing Paws over Strides of Reprisal is because the Tiger on demand is very, very strong and there's not a lot of hand synergy. Strides of Reprisal, though, does synergize with effects like Tooth and Claw and effects like E-Strike and Emissary Tide. So you can basically like get a Tiger in hand, bottom it to like one of these cards, and then you have like a 6 or 7 value play, right? Very, very strong. Uh, so that's a very, very interesting include. We also have the return of Zephyr Needles, which I think might be like mirror breaking technology. Also, like probably decent into Aurora, just because they block pretty poorly most of the time. So Zephyr Needle value pretty good there. You probably also want into like Dio Prism, but again, Zephyr Needles historically also have kind of been in the chopping block, especially with the kind of advent of like CYB new, just wanting extra kind of like deck space. But very, very interesting to include here, and I think it was probably semi-relevant into the finals where we basically saw Zenmir. So definitely gives you a bit of a edge in the Zenmir. Let's take a look at the core deck. So again, we have our staples as per usual. Lots of 1-ofs and 2-ofs in this deck. So we have like 2 of Red Harmony Hunt, 2 of Yellow of the Harmony Hunt too. So we're basically running 7 Harmony Hunts of the deck. I'm assuming to partially enable Tooth and Claw, although I do think Harmony Hunt is just kind of a generically strong card. So you basically kind of have to think of Harmony Hunt as like a 2-card 5 with like Go Again. So like it's a 3 and a 2, which is like kind of like the most annoying breakpoints for Enigma. Then you can either basically opt to play the extra 1 or Arsenal of Tiger, which I think Arsenal of Tiger is generally quite strong. So very, very interesting include here, especially a yellow, which is kind of wild. Maybe just for like ratio purposes, but yeah. Also synergize with Tooth and Claw, but we're only running 2 Tooth and Claw on this list, which is very, very interesting. I'm gonna be honest, I don't fully understand the 2 Tooth and Claw when you basically like committed almost, what is it, like 8 slots basically to making like hand tigers, uh or I guess like nine slots. That's kind of wild. But Tooth and Claw, I guess like not, maybe not good enough as a 3 of, but maybe as a 2 of, kind of spicy, kind of like it. We also have 1 of Monkey, which is kind of similar to, I guess, Nick Butcher's list if we kind of compare the decks. Maybe taking a little bit of inspiration there in terms of like your kind of like non-Gogan sources. So where is that? Monkey, right? Both on 1 of, which is kind of also interesting. Tiger Swipes, normal, Ancestral Army, normal, Cosmic normal. What else is abnormal here? Some spicy 1-ups. Again, nothing too unusual here. I think Tiger Form Incantation is probably the most unusual. And then yeah, Emissary Tides. This is a wild card. So I guess it's like a modal 0 for 4 or like a budget E-Strike kind of. Definitely interesting. Like, I feel like most of the time you maybe just want to play this as a 0 for 4, but like if you ever get the extra value or like you can't do anything with your hand, it's kind of interesting. Uh, I don't know how I feel about this card. This might also just be like a troll. Uh, I'm like 95% sure this is like a troll, but like anyways. I'm gonna try to bring a deck at some point with just a titanium bubble in it and see if I can get away with that. Looking at the sideboard though, we have kind of some pretty similar, I guess, commonalities to like Nick Butcher list. So 2 of weakest links instead of the 3 of weakest links. Then we have 3 snags, which is also in line with the previous list. Only 2 red wax on and 3 flicks. So Naib is currently not on the wax on, wax off package, which I've been saying for a while has, I think, in my opinion, been kind of weak. I don't think you want it in the mirror. I think it's like at its best into Aurora, but I think that package actually isn't all that good into like most other decks in the format. Like it's not that good into Dio right now because Dio generally has like a lot of like larger kind of attacks. It's okay into like Aurora not been set. It's like kind of okay in the mirror. Like Aurora in the mirror, I guess, are like the two. I guess new, it's like fine into, right? Because like Wax On is just a generically strong kind of card into new. Those are three matchups where you want Wax Off specifically. And I think that that's fine, but committing three three blues for that specific matchup is very very weird, especially if you don't have like a way to board them out, which I think is like kind of the problem is that it takes up a lot of deck space. Sensor also super cool mirror breaker tech. We're actually experimenting this, or I was experimenting with this back in the Portland Calling, I think. So this was my idea for like mirror breaker technology over weakest link. We see Naib running both of them here, so also kind of interesting. But I think Sensor is like very strong in Zen. Like just having a 2-card 7 with an on hit, very very good, especially for like breakpoints and stuff. Yeah, but that's the list. I've been trying to goldfish this list a little bit on my own today. I think let me see how many games I got. I got 6 games, and I'm like 6-1. Only loss was still like a Prism who hit me with like a ton of Angelic Grass. Yeah, but this list plays like even though we got some kind of like sus cards in here, like this is just as endless. Like I basically have a hypothesis at this point, which is that Zen only really has 40 good cards, and then like the last 20 cards, as long as they like block 3 or like have go again, you can kind of just put like whatever you want in there. Like as long as they're like on rate cards, like there's not a ton of difference between like a lot of these cards, which I think is kind of an interesting like deck building situation to I guess be in, because like I don't know, it's just like there's so little impact to I guess like the other cards that are not like transcend or like levels or like your really good combo cards that like doesn't really matter what you play. Like I don't know. Yeah, but we're gonna go ahead and play some games with this list. I think it's like very very solid, and there's definitely like a lot of deck building here. Again, I'm guessing the sideboard here. Don't have like the author's like sideboard notes or anything. Yeah, but we're gonna go ahead and do some games. All right, we got a Viserai. I will choose to go first. Uh, they also disconnected. Okay, that was kind of weird. Uh, I will choose my sensors, and then I don't even know if I want sensors. Maybe we just fuck it. Let's just go with the 60. I think that's fine. Don't think we want needles in the Viz just because they block pretty efficiently. Like needles, like we're basically giving like 2 sideboard slots almost for like the Aurora matchup, which is kind of weird. All right, pretty decent starting hand, especially going first. I kind of feel bad here because the Viserai player disconnected. They chose first, disconnected, and then they rejoined, and I chose first. But I kind of didn't see their name, so I apologize in advance for that, Viserai, if you're watching. I think across. Oh wait, sorry, y'all can't see my screen. Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry about that. Let me just fix the OBS. I like moved my monitor around. Sorry there. All right, so if y'all didn't see, we basically played out a growl into 100 wins. You didn't really miss much. They blocked with 2-3 blocks, I think, and then we'll finish on Winds of Eternity here. So just a nice setup value play. So yeah, across all the lists I've tested, Viserai has been like a very, very good matchup for me. I think if I go first, I'm pretty much, I think like 100% of Viserai, and then like 60 to 80%, I think, if I go second. So definitely always want to try to go first in this matchup if you can. It makes it significantly easier just because basically the reason is because they basically have to give up a turn to like develop out rune chance. If you make them do that on like if they go second, they're basically giving up a turn cycle to set up rune chance, right? Which is a lot better than if they're going first and basically setting up for free without you getting any filter value. We're gonna go ahead and just take this here. We're not at risk of succumb. Or I guess they can succumb off creepers, but like we don't really care about that. So we're fine here to just take it, and then it looks like we got a dirge. Okay, so we're still not at risk of succumb here, just because they don't have another action to play. All right, so we got actually a pretty decent turn lined up. I think we're playing out yellow Harmony Hunt, which this card is very suspect. I think we're gonna follow up with Tooth and Claws, just a 0-4, which I guess is like pretty reasonable here. I wonder, honestly, if the strides come out. I honestly wonder if you just side this card out for like censor. I could honestly see that. Again, I don't have the cyber notes here, but Tooth and Claw just being like a 0 for 4 go again is like pretty okay. Especially if you're like running a lot of Harmony Hunts, which I don't know how I feel about running more than 6. I kind of like 3 right now. So I don't know if I actually like the blue Harmony Hunts at the blue slot. I've been liking them a lot at the red slot just because you can do like 2-5 Arsenal or 2-3 Arsenal Tiger. I've liked that play pattern a lot, especially against like more kind of controlly decks. Kind of like Enigma, Viserai, that kind of thing. All right, so we do have the opportunity to bomb a Tiger here. I don't think we want to, though. I think I'm just going to get the 3 value and then E-Strike, try to draw a card, looking for Transcend here, which is, I think, the only thing we're really missing this game. Finish it off on the old E-Strike. All right, Harmony Hunt Blues. Not terrible Arsenal Tiger here, honestly. Sure. All right, really, really good hand. Oftentimes when I see a double Transcend hand against a Viserai, this is kind of just like a play pattern thing that I've noticed, is that oftentimes I don't even really make a Zen state if I don't need to. Like a lot of the times I'll just like double transcend and use the 2 resources to pay into like this. Notably, they discarded Succumb here, which almost makes me think they have a second one somehow. So we're definitely paying 2. I guess the question is, do we want to pay any more? Holding 2 blues is really, really good. So there's that. But we could also just block 6 on this, and that also denies Succumb. Because currently they're not representing Go again. So I think I'm supposed to do that. It's a little bit greedy. I think it's correct. I think that paying 3 is also quite reasonable. I think I do just want to block with double aspect. There's not really a way that we can like guarantee play Chase the Tail this turn except for using Harmony Hunt. Assuming that they have like a Succumb or something in hand, which it kind of seems like they do here. At least that's the only way that like IPing yourself like this kind of makes sense to me. I don't know, maybe just also an awkward hand from the Viserai. Alright, we'll go ahead and start with Harmony Hunt. Notably, they're on Crown, so we don't really have to play around our Chase getting gotten. Do we run Key Unleashed in this deck, actually? We do run a 1 blue of. I wonder if that's almost better. The difference is we can send 2 more damage. We'd also lose out on a blue in our deck. Does that matter? But we get to Arsenal a Tiger. I think that might be worth it. So just getting the... oh, maybe Kakara actually was better. Hold on, sorry. I think actually Swipe might have been better. Yeah, I think Swipe's better here just for damage efficiency because we're already sending 7 here, so it doesn't really matter. Like, or I guess we're sending 8, so this is actually just strictly better because then we also get to Arsenal Tiger. Yeah, I think this makes the most amount of sense. Yeah, that seems good to me. So this way we get to send H damage. We're not being inefficient with like Chase Tail because I think if we get Chase Tail, it's a little bit inefficient because we would be losing out on Kakara because we only have 2 resources. We'll go ahead and just Arsenal Tiger and pass it back. I think the strength of these decks that kind of run Harmony Hunt is that it's very, very strong to have a Tiger in Arsenal. So we have Rune Ranger Storm here. I'm kind of incentivized to more block this with like Breed Anger here, so I think that's what I'm going to try to go for. I'm still kind of pinning them on Succumb here. At least that's kind of what they represented so far. Especially discarding a succumb is like very suspect to me. Yeah, so I think this is one of the cards they IP'd themselves with last turn. So here we can actually develop our Traverse pretty safely, I think. Yeah, that seems reasonable. I think once you know how to like play around Succumb, this matchup becomes like very, very easy. Like I think if you have like 15 to 20 reps on this matchup, that's kind of what it's felt like for me. The matchup becomes like very, very good for you. All right, let's go ahead and start. Actually, we might want to end with levels. That might be better. Let's go ahead and just activate Zen then. We'll develop our chase here, even though we're kind of losing a little bit of resources. And I think we'll not sink Kakara as well. I think we're just developing our chase and then ending on levels for 5 draw. Seems pretty reasonable. So actually, I was kind of like defaulting to starting with levels this turn. But I don't think there's like a strong reason to, especially when we have already transcended. Or like we already have our chi like flipped. I feel like the play pattern I most often do is like levels transcend, but I think it's probably incorrect here. So you get a nice little 435 arsenal. Pretty good. I think this is the only chi we flipped in our deck. There might be one more chi in our deck. Which might make the arsenal a little bit weird, but we shall see. It's honestly not even the end of the world if we draw chi here. All right. We are fortunate to not hit the 1 in 60 fail state, I guess. Or I guess it's like 1 in 43, 1 in 44. Sure. All right, Viserai has a scary 5-card hand, but we are very far ahead on life total, and we have a Zen state, so that's really good for us. So I think we're probably gonna punish them pretty hard here. Depends what they do. Notably, they do have to pay for this Runic Reckoning right now, which might make their turn a little bit more awkward. Depends. All right, so notably we've seen 2 succumb. No, we saw 1 succumb pitched, 1 succumb here, so we still probably do have to play around succumb. I guess the question is it worth it to Zen state? I mean, it probably is. We'll get a resource. And I think if they want to succumb here, we're like fine with that. It's a little early for my liking for a Zen state, if I'm being honest. But they're kind of like showing us that they have like a pretty decent hand. All right, let's go ahead and block with Kansaki here. I don't think it really matters between these two. All right, if they want to cut their turn off early, I am also okay with that. We'll attack with Underwinds here, also the Aspect, just because it combos with the Chi in our deck. Also Chase. I think the real advantage of like the Harmia Hunt is just enabling Chase as often as you can. Which I think makes it strong in certain matchups, but other matchups, I don't know. Not the biggest fan. All right, opponent is probably just going to develop out some Rune Chance here and pass, I imagine. I don't think they want to waste 7 damage. And this is why, in general, like, proactive Zen state is a little bit better than reactive Zen state. I feel like this might have been a little bit more reactive. Technically, it was proactive, but it feels a little bit more reactive, I guess. All right, so we have Chase Aspect, we have Harmony Hunt, we also have levels. So we could actually pitch a red here and do levels go again. Can't gain a resource though, which is the awkward part. So I think it might actually just be better to play Harmony Hunt here. And then we can like Arsenal as Transcend card and maybe use it to like double flip or something. I think that's fine. I think playing out the hand is just fine as is. The only awkward part about this is we don't get to squeeze in the Kara, but I think we can live with that. They do notably have like 14 damage worth of rune chance or something on the board, which is pretty cool. Pretty good for them, I guess. But we're still like 20 points up on them also. Right. Notably, they do have some sinks here. Sure. So they have shuffled also a couple times, which might make their succumbs a bit better here. So they still have 2 in the deck. I think they shuffled off the Sonata, right? So we do have to start playing around it a little bit. Which might mean we're on the defensive next turn. I think that's still okay. We basically have 10 rune chance represented here. And then how many more from Malefics? We have 6 more from Malefics. I mean, Mordred-Tide. We also seen 2 Mordred-Tide. So as long as we don't get the Malefic with the Mordred-Tide combo, we're probably okay. Alright, do you like to see a block with 2 block? So imagine here we're going to get like Knife Bladed or something, which is a lot of damage, but it's probably fine. Alright, we have a really, really good hand. Okay, but we do have Ninth Blade though, so how greedy do I guess we want to get? If we succumb, how bad? Or if we get succumbed, how bad is it? Like, not bad at all. We basically lose out on like either Passover or levels. So I think we're fine. So we take 10 here plus 9. Like, there's no way they can really kill us off one other card, right? This doesn't have go again, so I think we're just skipping all the chance. I think this is generally what you kind of want to save your Zen state for. That's why I said I think it was a little bit premature, maybe, but they did have a Mordred turn, which we kind of like cut off, so kind of okay with it, honestly. We're still like pretty far ahead on tempo, even with this like 20-point swing, so I think we're still chilling here. All right, hit me with your succumb, which again I don't think is even that bad. Sure. So we played around this intentionally. We did have the option to pay into it, but I think that our hand is like good enough to the point where that doesn't matter. So my guess is they take Passover here, but if they're 400 IQ, they take levels, and then our path will travel, I guess, gets worse. But I'm like 95% sure, just based on this 4-card hand information, they're supposed to take Passover. Okay, 4,000 IQ. What can you do? It's still not even that bad, though. All right, so they then come in for 6, which again still doesn't kill. So we are a-okay with this. That's kind of wild, honestly, that they predicted that. That's kind of cool. I like that. Potent is actually very smart. Sure. Still don't think it matters though, because we just have kind of the nut here. So I think I guess I'm trying to think through the resources here. I guess we start like this, right? And then we just double transcend this. This may also merit to playing Ancestral Harmony and then Passover. Wonder how that changes. They do have 2 armor still, notably. Alright, looks like they're blocking with the creepers. Sure. So we'll go ahead and just double go again this. I guess we'll banish. Pretty sure they have redundant. Oh, they don't have a redundant Gloomveil. I don't think. Okay, so that's probably the pick here. Alright, gain our resources. Pass. Activate Zen. Oh, notably off the ninth blade of the Blood Oath, they did have go again because of Succumb, giving them an action point. Something I just thought of now. Still fine. I'm just trying to think here. What do we want to do? I think we still want to just go for Chase. It's obviously like a little bit resource inefficient here, but it's probably still fine. Because we get to go 1, or no, we get to go 2, 4, 3. I wonder if I'm punting here somehow. It's entirely possible. We do get them on a 2-card hand, which might make it a little bit hard for them to proc their Malefics. But I guess it's pretty easy with like Gloomveil or something. I don't know. I feel like I could have played this game a lot safer, maybe. Maybe that was the play against like the Knife Blade, is to just like pay into it and let them Brick on succumb again. Still have to give me another card here, so they're only keeping 1-card hand. And then like best case scenario, this is like Gloomveil, which procs 2 Malefics, comes in for 4, we block it, and then we're fine. So I think we're still okay here. Alright, they're gonna Runechant plus Reaping Blade. Sure. So not pay into the Runechant damage. And then here we just block with Swipe. Yeah. So I think we definitely played this a little bit close to the chest in terms of how kind of risky we played it, but I think we're still okay. We're transcending again, which is good. Hitting a cheat off the top is whatever. Still have 2 armor block on Shuko, so like we're very not dead here. If they block with the 2 block here, we also get some chip in. Okay. Unfortunately, they do 3 block. That's okay. I think we still have a Mauling Key left in the deck, right? So I think that's gonna probably be the get here. Yeah, I do think I played this maybe a little bit too risky. The Mauling comes in for 6, which demands 2 other cards still, so they can, again, at most probably Gloomveil us, right? I don't know. I think we're still fine here. Plus, this deck runs like a decent amount of 2 blocks with like the Blessings and the Sonatas, but I don't know how many other 2 blocks I guess we have left. I think even if they have React here, this demands 2 cards, which I think is a little bit unfortunate for them. So we have blue Amplify in hands, and then red Ranger Swarm, and then 1 other React of some kind. Can't be the Runechant React, so it's got to be Sync. That makes sense. All right, then the last card in hand is a blue for 1+3. It's pretty efficient here, but again, they're not developing out their Malefics, so maybe that's okay. All right, so we'll pay 1. How do we want to pay 1? Pay with... I don't think there's any really efficient way to kill them here. So I guess we pay with like Key Unleashed. Oh, we should have... I don't think it actually matters. They're not much versus CNC. I guess we probably should have like maybe paid with Growl, blocked with Key Unleashed. Maybe that was actually the play. 2 and 3 though is like pretty much the same exact thing though. I assume it just eats 2/3 blocks. I guess it depends if they have like a 2 block in hand. It might matter. Small punt there, I think. Okay, here's how I can justify it though. They have Sigil of Suffering somewhere in their deck, maybe. Okay. Uh, immediately getting punched. That's fine. All right, we have the Gloomveil coming in here, unfortunately. So we will have to pay into this. Let's pay with one of our 2 blocks here, I think. Then we'll go ahead and block with Shuko and Emissary Tides. I assume that here we're going to just be paying into 2 into the Rune Chance and then blocking 3 and Reaping. Definitely feel like we fumbled this game here slightly in the end, but it's a learning moment. We at least get to Arsenal levels here, which is maybe okay if we can kind of stabilize. All right, 2 blues is definitely good here. All right, they dirged their Malefic too, which is basically just Rune Chant neutral. Could have a pretty scary hand here, though. Notably, we do still have 1 Succumb left in the deck, which may end up mattering. And if this is just a Reaping Blade hand, I think we can actually deal with this. So let's go ahead and pay into the Rune Chants. Keep paying. And I think we're blocking with CNC here. And I think our play is to just do Kakara plus levels for 5. Seems like they might have bricked on this hand. Maybe they have like a React in hand plus one other card they can't really play, or like a Succumb or something. Seems pretty reasonable. Maybe another Read the Runes. Or maybe they arsenaled something again. It's hard to tell. Alright, we will go ahead and send in 5 here, though. Which will demand 2 cards. They get to keep 1 card being a blue, and then they can grasp this Reaping Blade again. Which is kind of scary. I do think that one turn where we blocked with the, or we pitched the Key Unleash instead of blocking with it, like I think we actually are supposed to pitch the Growl there. I do like to see less swarming out of the way as well. I think that's good for us. I feel like it maybe underestimated how good hitting with Succumb was on that one turn with the Ninth Blade. I think maybe blocking out was like the safer play there. Alright, do you like to see those 2 blocks? I'm assuming they have another blue in hand, just given that they blocked with 1. Alright, so we do see grass, sure. So we'll pay 1 and then block 3. Hit 1. And we might be able to just get there on the next turn, because then we can do Kakara, Breed Anger, get a 0 cost, or yeah, 0 cost, and then maybe somehow get all the cards out of their hands. It needs to be a 0 cost though. So what 0 cost do we have left in the deck? I think we have. Do we have 1 Tiger Swipe left? Tiger Swipe would be the perfect one here, I think. So if we can get them out of all their cards in hand, I think we are pretty set to win. I guess the question is, do we want Swipe over Pouncing Key? I don't know if it matters. I don't think it does. I guess since it doesn't matter this turn, maybe we should just get Pouncing instead. We could send 1/4 1404. It's pretty good. So like if they don't have like 2 reacts here, I think this just eats their whole hand. If they have 1 react, I guess that does do it. Then they can block 6 with the other 2 cards, keep a blue, and then Reaping plus Grasp. Okay, I don't know if Reduce to Rune Chant is the way to do it, though. Because that basically just eats 2 cards out of their hand anyways, right? So now this should also still just eat 2 cards out of their hand. Unless they have another react, which I think we've seen all... No, we still have 1 Sync below left, actually. So it could still be Grasp plus Reaping. No, they can't Grasp plus Reaping because they already made the Rune Chant, right? Okay, so we finally clear out their hand. So I think our previous blunder, I guess we made up for here a little bit. Okay, and this is probably a really good hand to try to close out the game. Let's go ahead and start with Harmony Hunt here, and then we can save the Transcend card actually for the very, very end, which will notably, funny enough, give us 1 life here. Just playing around the Vexing Malice. I do think that there was an opportunity here to have a better game or like a more controlled game because I feel like we kind of maybe underestimated how good that Ninth Blade was. Or how good Ninth Blade plus Succumb is, I guess, because they also just get the +6 damage from the Reaping Blade off the action point. But I'm like 95% sure that this will close it out here. Alright, so we see a Sync Blow. Have we already played a Tiger? I can't really tell. Yeah, we have played a Tiger. That came from the Harmony Hunt, right? That makes sense. Alright, gain our life. And then activate Zen, and that should be game. Guess we'll just get a wins here. Why not? Sure. So I think that was maybe the closest a Viserai's gotten to killing me in the wild. The problem is they did like kind of peter out at the end. It felt like even though they were like grasping plus reaping blade every turn, like I feel like our 2-card hand is generally better, and especially with like the amount of 3 blocks we had left in the deck. I don't know. Felt like it was. I don't know. That one turn where they knife blade us, I think we had the chance to make this game a lot more comfortable for ourselves, which is maybe kind of a lesson to be learned about the Viserai matchup. Is that like blocking out if they have 2 succumbs left in the deck just kind of reduces their threat density by a lot. You give them tempo, which is obviously bad, but also opponent was like a genius there for taking the levels instead of the passive. We're like, what the fuck? We've seen some like incredibly talented players. But anyways, I think we'll go ahead and try to get another. All right, so I want to see how this list does in Jarl. I think we generally like to go first in Jarl, even if they're on Earth. And I don't know if we want Censor in Jarl. I guess maybe Censor is kind of spicy. We can maybe name like an Oakenold or something. And then what do we want to cut here? I've also, okay, so here's actually an experiment I want to run. I'm actually kind of curious if the Flick Flacks are good in Jarl. Couple of people have been talking about this, that maybe this is kind of like actually the play. So I want to try it out. I don't really know what to fully cut for this though. You may cut some like the yellow Harmony Hunts, maybe that's like fine. And then what else do we want to cut? Maybe like the Emissary Tides. I have no idea to fucking sideboard this list. Sure, that's fine. So I think here hand's a little bit weird because I want to send like this and this. Okay, so they have an Olan Ice Cap plus Stalagmite, so it looks like more earthy builds, but just running these. So how do we want to start this off? Ideally, this goes in Arsenal, but I don't think that's going to be the case here. I think we actually probably have to Arsenal this, which is unfortunate, but I think it's probably fine. So we'll do like 2, 3, 4. Arsenal this pass. If they want to frostbite us, like, it's fine. Sure. All right, seeing a Frostfang from them is kind of interesting. I mean, not interesting. I think that card's very, very strong in Jarl. What is interesting, I guess, is them fat decking us. So they're at 66, 70 card deck. So I wonder if we're playing against CYB Jarl at this point. I know there supposedly has been a list making the rounds where it's like a decomposed CYB type thing. I don't exactly know what that list looks like. All the Jarl lists are like very, very different. From like, I feel like every Jarl I play against has like a completely different list in my limited Jarl experience. So the reason I'm trying to test out reacts here is because I think Jude and I were talking about like that Lupine game I played a while ago, and I think that there's a lot of merit to running like Tiger Eye Reflex in the matchup. Oh, we got a nice little crumble of eternity here. I think there's a lot of merit to running the Tiger Eye Reflexes because you can block for 0 out of Arsenal and like it plays around like CLF. But the theory we have is like, what if we just play the reacts into CLF anyways? Because like we're not really doing much through CLF, right? Okay, so that was enough of the rant. We can't really Arsenal this Flick Flack, which is unfortunate. So maybe we just go ahead and play it out here. It's probably fine. Again, if I had to guess here, they're probably on some kind of more fatiguey Jarl. It's hard to tell these days. All right, opponent's also putting on Traverse, which is probably going to be pretty annoying if they have like an Expose here or something weird. Turn 0 Crumble tends to be pretty good. Or I guess not turn 0, turn 1. But still pretty good. I think in this matchup, I feel like it's almost... I want to say it's like maybe 40% of the time I just get my Traverse blown up like before turn 5. Which is pretty good. I feel like it's very rare that... I feel like it's actually like somewhat rare that I get the Traverse blown up without getting any value from it. But it looks like that might be happening here. Kind of depends what they got though. Alright, happy to get 7 damage in. Okay, so as long as there's no Mangle here or anything, we can maybe try to develop out this Chi. Ice Quake, very, very good though. Plus a Winter's Bite, sure. So I guess the question is, what is the follow-up? I think we're actually going to go ahead and just pay the Red Harmony Hunt. It being a 2-block is kind of butt-ass. Alright, and then they're going to send it in for buff power with Dominate. Pretty solid. So, notably, CNC is not doing a ton here. Maybe it's still just worth sending and then IPing yourself and stir the pot. Like send 6. Or alternatively, block 3, send 2. I guess sending 6 is better, and I guess it means they can't like decompose or something off of Root Bound. I think it's okay. E-Strike not the scariest thing they could potentially have here, so I'm kind of somewhat fine with this. I notably don't think I want to try to like pitch CNC and do something cute and try to like Harmony plus Chase. Like, there's no way the resources work out without getting punished by Stalagmite and it being super face up. So I think I'm just going to pay 3 into CNC and just send it. I think we're all about just sending efficient damage here. We could get our Traverse blown up, but it is what it is. Not the end of the world. Get 6 damage on the board that they can't like decompose into, which I think is reasonable. Right, go ahead and pass back. I do like to see double transcend against Jarl, especially with another blue as backup. All right, looks like we might not be doing much this turn though. All right, we have an Okadol coming in here. I think we're supposed to just double decompose in response to this. So what did they reveal? They revealed Pulse of Isenloft. They could have Pummel here as well, which would be kind of spooky. All right, let's go ahead and double transcend here at least. So funny thing is we can like at least put a transcend card into the deck. So it maybe turns our Traverse on. But I'm pretty sure we're just taking this. So I don't even think we're blocking. I think we're trying to bank on like keeping a blue and a Chi, which I think is... I don't know exactly what the odds on that are. Is it 50-50? I don't know if the stats work out that way. I'm going to pretend it's 50-50. But yeah, we'll just take the open hold here. If they have Pummel, GG's, I guess. Sure. All right, so this is good. So we get to keep our Chi and one other card. Sure. So we could... So we can't get punished by Olin plus Stalagmite because that only makes 2 Frostbite. So I think we're actually going to try to go for CNC here. If they have a Blizzard plus that, I guess we're fine with that. So let's go ahead and get an Aspect and then start with Tiger. If they want to waste like Blizzard plus these 2 resources, I think I'm kind of okay just getting that out of the way. Here we're going to save the card for the end if they don't do that though. Alright, looks like they probably don't have it. So notably, we're going to play Tiger here first, which looks like we're losing 1 damage off Kakara, but we need to absolutely confirm this Tiger. Like, because otherwise, if they block Kakara, we basically just lose, right? Finish on Kakara. So this is the common play that I guess I do in Jarl, where we Kakara last, which seems weird, but it makes sense when you kind of think about the threats. So notably, they still have tons of ways to make Frostbites. Let's see what their hand is, though. Feels like it's pretty unlikely to be frozen to death, given that they kept 5 cards. I think frozen to death or like exposed to the elements are like the 2 cards that I worry about the most, I guess. But exposed is not even that good here because we can pay into it. Would have been good last turn, I think, if they want to do it. Alright, Icequake's pretty decent though. Icequake plus Felling, sure. So I'm curious why they didn't block with these 2 cards. How does that make sense? Alright, so we have Felling coming in for 7 here. We have 4 block on equipment. We can bottom 100 wins, which I think is fine. Do we care about getting Icequake? I guess we don't. Maybe we don't even need a block 4. Maybe we just block like this. We don't need the extra Tiger though. So maybe we just block like this. We get 1 Frostbite, and then we should have plenty of blues for our turn. I guess the problem is if we don't draw blue off levels, but we're like pretty likely to draw blue off levels. So I think that just blocking with Traverse is maybe fine. Yeah, I don't know. Their hand seems a little bit weird if they're doing this off Belling, but what do I know? So I think we actually will transcend to gain the additional resource here as well. Pay the Frostbite. Get our thing. Activate Zen. Do we want to try to go for Chase's Tail here? Even if we get like completely frosted out by like a blizzard or something, like so first of all, we're also drawing a potential blue off of levels. It's a little bit unlikely, I think, to draw blue just because I think this deck is a little bit more red heavy. So I guess the question is, how greedy do we want to get here? I don't know how greedy this actually is. I think it's fine to maybe threat. If we can't get it off, and maybe we just do like we do draw a transcend card also, which is basically like a four resource card, which is really funny. Also playing around Unforgiving, which is also funny with that play. But yeah, we drew a 4 resource card, which is, you know, as most cards are in Flesh and Blood. Sorry, as most cards are in Flesh and Blood. Most cards, as we know, pitch for 4, effectively. So pretty good against a potential ice turn. All right, we'll lead off on the Tiger here. So I think we're safe even through Stalagmite plus a Blizzard, if I'm not mistaken, because it's 3 plus 5. So I think we're still fine here. Still have 8 armor. Things are still, I think, going well. I think the only gotcha here is that maybe we have to preserve in response to the Blizzard and or Olin Cap plus Stalagmite. But also, if they don't give us anything here, we can just we can still respond to this, so that's fine. If it's 2 Frostbites, then we actually need to preserve in response. I think we're fine to just do this here. Let's put a Chase back in the deck just because it's one of our stronger cards, especially with the Harmony Hunt kind of version of this list. They might try to like give us Olin plus Gauntlets here, but it still doesn't do very much. I also think we got like kind of lucky here. It looks like that's might be what they're doing. No, sure. So funny enough, they can't Olin. I don't think they're representing Blizzard either. We could get punished for this, but I'm gonna try to go for the +1 damage. Because I feel like they're not representing Blizzard, and they would try to go for it like a lot earlier with the Stalagmite and stuff. I don't know. I could have been misreading that, but seems like they just don't have Blizzard. Alright, go ahead and pass it back. Alright, don't mind seeing a react here. And this Plowender is also pretty weak. Oh, we don't even have Decompose. Alright, I think they should have blocked with Trunks last turn just to at least get some damage. Let's go ahead and block. I think just 3 here is fine. I don't think we want to just like give up strides because there's like maybe a chance that double frostbite might matter. I think we'll just go ahead and send Kakari here. They may finish on like Sensor or something. Or not. If they don't have frostbite this, I'm also kind of fine with that. Sure. Go ahead and Arsenal Flick Flack just in case they have a Oakenold, which we should be able to block here. Assuming no Pummel. God, Pummel Oakenold is fucking terrifying. There is not much you can do against Pummel Oakenold in this game, except like unmovable, but no one runs that card, right? I feel like this is Jarl's like best card by a mile, maybe. This card is just insanely good. Alright, we do have it coming in here. So speak of the devil. But at least at least I think our reacts are kind of shining here, because we can at least like block 5. Oh. Do they not have it? So if they have just like Pummel here, maybe we just block with strides. And then we just funny enough, I guess funny thing about strides is you can just discard the tiger. So if this is just Pummel, this is very, very sad for them. Sure. That's a shame. Alright, strides of reprisal is proven overpowered, I guess. Sure. Completely broken against Pummel. Fine by me. Alright, let's go ahead and just E-Strike here. We'll do go again. They want to Blizzard us. Is what it is. God, Unforgetting Unforgiving is also such a bad card. I've not been impressed by that card. I've not been impressed by Mangle in Jarl, which is wild. Like, I think I've seen people run like Mangle as a 1-of, which I think I kind of like. Or maybe like a 1 or a 2-of, but you do not want 3 copies of that card, I feel like. Alright, finish on Censor. I guess we'll name probably Felling if we get to hit. I think that's the only card we're really scared of at this point. Especially off 2 cards. Sure. Alright, so the reacts have honestly been feeling a little bit better against Jarl. Alright, let's go ahead and just flip this, I guess. And then we're still chilling. Alright, we'll go ahead and Kakara plus CNC. Which should at least strip 3 cards out of their hands. I guess they can keep a 2-card hand if they really want to, if they block like Tunic and a 3 block. I think I'm probably okay with that. Ooh, Earthlore Surge is very, very spicy. I do kind of like this card in Jarl. I've not tried it out, but when I've seen it played against me, this card has been kind of cool. Alright, you see the hammer come in. Do we want to waste react on this? I think we're fine too. I think we could probably just keep the tempo for the rest of the game, so I'm not really scared of like a big dominated Oakenold or anything. So I think, how do we want to start this off? We could start with Harming Hunt. I mean, it's probably the best play. I'm a little bit worried about Blizzard here, which they should still have 3 of. I'm pretty sure like every Jarl list probably runs like 3 Blizzard. I think that card might just be too good. Not too good to the point where it's like busted or anything, but too good to not run a Jarl, I think. Alright, we do have Fruits, which is going to gain them a bit of life here. I think it's still fine. We'll just send 5 into 5 if we can. Seems good to me. Or 4 into 5 rather. We already got the buff from Shuko. So they block 3. We can send another Tiger, and then this is also coming in for an additional 1. I think this is actually better for us though. I don't know if it's. I guess it is better than if they just block the thing for 3. All right, what is our last card in hand? Last card in hand is the seal up. Okay, I think they were probably just off it. All right, well, I think that's going to wrap up today's games. So this list is, I think, one that maybe the games I played today didn't really showcase the real strengths of this list. I think that this list has a lot of legs. I guess my concern here is kind of like the new matchup because we have a very kind of light react package. Like when we look at like the Nathan Crawford or like the Nathan Crawford Nick Butcher list, I think we're running like 12 or something reacts into new, which is probably about kind of the ratio I've been looking at. With Naib's list, I think it's like 8-ish reacts, which is not. I think it's definitely passable, especially with like snag and stuff. I'm just not. I'm a snag hater. I do not like playing with that card. So if you look at my kind of current list, I've been trying to kind of incorporate some of the ideas that we've seen across these lists into the deck, and this is kind of what I've landed on. So I'm kind of trimming down, I guess, on like Tiger Eye reflexes and the Flick Flag. And the reason being, I want to try to make a little bit of room for Weakest Links because I think Weakest Link is quite strong in the mirror, and it's also pretty decent into Enigma, just as both a popper and kind of like a threatening on hit if they don't give you like 6 block. So I think it's quite reasonable there. I've also tried to go up on Harmony Hunt. Again, these are kind of like flexing for like kind of the reacts on the sideboard. But I still like not running like the wax off just because I don't think that card's super good. I still like Warmonger's Diplomacy, especially like adding it in to kind of flex with like levels of enlightenment basically. But again, I think Warmonger's is still just a very, very good card. Uh, and yeah, this is kind of like where I'm at with the list. I think some of these blues might change around, but I kind of like the 2 of Key Unleash just for threat density, and then the 1 at Pouncing Key for enabling Transcend. I'm still not sold on like the blue Harmony Hunts. I think I don't know. It seemed a little bit suspect to me, but maybe there's something there. And I've also trimmed on Cosmic Awakening just because I think you can probably get away with like 2 Cosmic Awakening instead of 3, and then just main deck this card. I think it's probably fine. So this is kind of where I'm at with the list. Again, a lot of the inspiration I've kind of taken from these 2 lists, but I'm not like fully sold in on like the full like 6 Harmony Hunt package. I think that having maybe like 3 red is like maybe where you want to be. I'm not sold on the blue ones mainly is kind of my takeaway here. Mainly because I just value having like 2 card transcend hands, which is like why you see these kind of 10 cards here. Yeah, but that's kind of my ideas for Zen. I'm probably gonna leave it off on that for today. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see y'all next time.